What's happening? It's time to go down under. Let's talk about Mad Max 2. It's Mad Max 2, or as it's known around the rest of the world, it's the fucking Road Warrior. It's an Ozploitation action triumph, so buckle up your seatbelts, load up your gasoline, as Mad Max 2, also known as the second best thing to come out of Australia since this. Ha! So let's get into it. These are my top 5 reasons why Mad Max 2 is the best fucking film ever made.
I am gravely disappointed. Again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war.
Number 1, it's a boomerang to the head. Oh shit!
Shit, boy.
I always start these lists with one moment that encompasses the film as a whole, and nothing says Australian action like a little kid throwing a metal boomerang into somebody's head.
Well, now that is some fucked up shit.
I love this scene, I love this little kid, and then he chops off some fingers. The only thing more Australian than this is this.
He's got a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Number 2, inventing a genre.
Great fucking movie.
Now, it could not be overstated how important the design aesthetic of Mad Max 2 has been to cinema around the world. I mean, there were post-apocalyptic movies before Mad Max. You got your Planet of the Apes and your Omega Mans, but nothing had this style and nothing was more influential. After Mad Max 2 Road Warrior came out, there was a plethora of knockoffs. I mean, look, these are just a few examples of the Italian Mad Max ripoffs.
Only those mobile enough to scavenge, brutal enough to pillage would survive. The gangs took over the highways.
Not only that, it even bled over into the WWF. Anyone remember the Road Warrior wrestlers? Guess where they get their name and costume aesthetic from? The fucking Road Warrior. And finally, what has to be my favourite Mad Max clone is the often underrated masterpiece. It's Waterworld. And if you don't like Waterworld, fuck you. You can go and live in a drain. You're an idiot. Waterworld's class.
Paper. Have you ever seen paper? Look at it. Smell it.
Number 3, it's George Miller. It's time to shout out the director on the list, and George Miller is a true original. Just look at this body of work. The same man who directed this also directed this. He directed this.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
And he directed this. Fuck yes, George Miller! The man is behind some of the greatest vehicular action I've ever seen and some of the wildest stunts you'll ever see in Mad Max 2. Now just take this one stunt for example, and if you're thinking, did this man break both of his legs? Are there wire work involved? The answer is no, there's no wire work involved, and yes, he broke both his legs. Let's look at that stunt. Fucking no. My other favourite thing about George Miller is that after Mad Max 2, he directs Mad Max 3 and then leaves the Mad Max franchise alone for nearly 30 years, comes back in his 80s. And everyone's saying, can George Miller really recreate the magic of Mad Max? And what does he do? The man directed Fury Road, which is arguably the greatest action film of the 21st century. Man, George Miller, what a guy.
I fucking love that guy.
Number 4, it's Bruce Spence, the Gyro Captain. It's actor shout out time. Now, I was going to give this spot to Mel Gibson, but I think we all know what happened to Mad Mel.
Ah, my nipples, they hurt! They hurt when I twist them!
Bruce Spence is a cult cinema icon, from the mouth of Sauron to Star Wars to Mad Max 3 Thunderdome. Where is he playing the same character? No, it's kind of weird, but who cares? It's Bruce Spence. The Gyro Captain, one of my favourite characters in cinema of all time, just from his visual design aesthetic. I mean, look how rake thin and gangly this guy is. But also some of his great lines, the way he looks at Max, and one of my favourite things about the Gyro Captain, the man uses a snake as a weapon. A fucking snake as a weapon. And also, I just love that little helicopter. Does anyone remember the episode of Reboot? Do you remember Reboot? Reboot once did an episode on Mad Max 2. Oh, those were the days.
Those were the days!
Number 5. It's the final chase.
If it's all the same to you, I'll drive that tanker.
It's the last spot on the list, and I kind of just got to give the last 20 minutes of Mad Max 2 all the love in the world.
I like it a lot.
This chase, in my opinion, has never been topped. And as much as I love Fury Road, which really is just the end of Mad Max 2 for 2 hours, I don't think it's as visceral or as impactful as Mad Max 2. Maybe I'm just old school. I just think there's something really tangible about Mad Max 2. And even though I'm aware that Fury Road doesn't use a lot of CG, it still kind of does, just in its color correction and things like that. Whereas Mad Max 2, you know that any minute one of these stunt performers could just fly off and die. Also, I love the reveal at the end that the tanker's not even carrying the gas, it's just carrying a bunch of dirt. And then it cuts to the kid with a boomerang, and you find out that he's the new leader and the narrator of the film the whole time. It just ties it all up so nicely. It's the best thing to come out of Australia since this.
What reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
All right, that's it. Listen, I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Like, click, subscribe, all that. Comment if you want to talk. Nice one, Sarah.